Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Spencer.
Mike.
And this is a board game rundown. And today we're going to talk about Válka. This is from Terrible Games, designed by, well, no, not designed by John DeCampos.
One of the designers.
Yeah, he helped.
Yeah.
But this
Brooke
plays
Penrose?
one. I'm sorry?
Brooke Penrose designed
Okay,
it.
awesome. This is 1 to 5 players. This is sort of a tableau building lane battler. Take that.
Yeah,
fighting
there's
game.
a lot of
Some
take
set
that.
collecting.
A little bit.
Lots of
Kinda,
fighting.
sorta.
Lots of fighting. Lots of fighting. So just give you like a quick and dirty on Válka. What you're doing is you're going to build your front line and your back line of fighters using boons and different fighters. They're going to have war bands. They're going to have attributes for attack, their health, and their defense. And they can have one of each of the different types of boons. So they can have up to 3 boons, right? There's an attack one, there's a health one, and there's a shield one. So a fully loaded fighter is right there. And that'll add all their extra things. On your turn, you're going to basically take each of your fighters and attack somebody. You can do that. You can do a true strike, which is just, I'm going to take my attack value versus your defense value. If it's greater, I'm going to deal 1 damage. Bing. Perfect. Great. Grand. If that's not going to work because their shield value is too high, maybe I can combine 2 of my fighters, and we'll call that a team strike. And you can do more. You could do all 4 of your fighters if you need to, and then use that to defeat one of your opponent's one fighter's defense value. So if you do that, it's still 1 damage, right? Bing, got him. Great, grand. Or maybe I don't want to do that. I still want to try to spread some stuff out, or I can do the chance strike. I'm going to roll a 10-sided die. My opponent's going to roll a 10-sided die. And I'm going to add my attack value to that. We're going to compare it with their defense value added to that. If the hit gets through, now I've done a damage. And the last way that you can damage is if you do have a critter with 1 health, you can do a reckless strike. I just straight up sacrifice the dude, goes to the graveyard, and he just deals 1 damage to any fighter.
Regardless of his strength.
Regardless of the strength.
And
Boom.
if you kill him,
Yay.
damn.
Yeah, and if you're playing like the where you're going for the Valor, is it Valor?
I think so.
Infamy.
Infamy.
Yeah.
You're going, you get the little infamy up here in the corner. And then like when we played first to 8 or 8 triggers end game, and then everybody gets another round. If your front line gets wiped out, you move your back line up. You can set traps by playing cards face down. So then they will activate when they hit that front line. Different other cards you can do, these event cards. There's Fear, which you can send somebody running, screaming from their front line and make them go to the back line. They drop all of their buffs when they do so. So it's super mean. I'm going to skip Divine Aid real quick. Reinforce. So normally the only way to get a card up to from your back line to your front line is to have your front line wiped out. But if you have a Reinforce card, you can play that and move a guy up. Now you can only have 4 guys up there, so you've got to make sure you've got the room for them. Grave Robber. That will allow you to go through the graveyard and grab a dude and add him to your hand. Now I can add him and fight with him. Fire Blast. Super fun. It's got an attack value of 3, and you can either do a true strike, where you just are trying to go straight up against somebody's defense, or you can do the reckless strike and roll the die, and they're going to roll a die, blah, blah, blah. But if you get through, you're going to deal 2 damage to that, and then you're going to deal an additional damage to the fighters adjacent.
Splash damage.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Retreat. It is the opposite of Reinforce. It is going to allow you to pull a guy from your back line, or from your front line to your back
And
line.
that heals them.
And it does heal them. All your fighters, once they hit that back line, are healed. Speaking of healing, Potion will heal you straight up, which is cool. A Thief is going to allow you to steal a buff off of a opponent's fighter that's in the back line and add it to your hand. Changeling is super fun. I like this one a lot. You can replace any fighter on the board, yours or an opponent's, in a front line with a card from your hand, with a fighter from your hand. So you could, let's say I've got this guy and he's like a 1/1 and a 2, and I've got a big old baddie in my hand, and it's like, well, you thought it was this guy, but now it's actually this guy. Boom. Or I turn one of Mike's big tough guys into a little weenie and,
Murder it.
That's the best way to say it. Then the best and most frustrating card, if you're on the receiving end of it, of all, is the Divine Aid. And I say it's frustrating because you think you pulled off some awesome combo, Divine Aid basically says no, you didn't. It will allow you to ignore damage when you play it. It will allow you to cancel out somebody else's event card. So it's an awesome card. Yeah,
Yep.
It's very powerful. And when I mean it's annoying, it just means it's very effective.
And it's the only one you can play during other people's turns.
It's the only one that can play during other people's turns. Another thing to consider while assembling your war bands is they do all have a faction symbol down here. And if you have 2 of them of the same faction, they get a one-time ability boon from their faction. Awesome. You're going to do that. Move on. If you've got 3 or more, that boon is perpetual until they have less than 3.
Right. Keep triggering
that can really snowball into some good effects, but it also can draw a lot of attention to you.
Puts target on
because it's like, whoa, you just opened up a big old steamroller over there.
And some of them go off the minute they are revealed, and so it's an instant whatever it does.
Right.
Yeah, so like if your front row gets wiped out and then your back row then fills in, boom, you can have a boon activate immediately.
Which might be why you want to keep these cards face down, because then, boom, no, I get to steal those. And he didn't see that coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody expected that. There is a solo mode. Not going to go into it too much, but it is detailed, and it's got this fun cloth map. And
it's worth digging out, and even has a dual layer board.
It is pretty nice
for it.
And that's basically how you play. We played the bounty hunter mode where you play till 8 infamy. You could play solo. There's like a last man standing. So there's some other things you can do with it.
Different methods.
But we just gave you the most straightforward meat and potatoes version. Basically, all of these rules translate to all of the versions of the game. So let's go around and share some of our thoughts on Válka.
Yeah.
Spencer.
Yeah, the art style is definitely unique. I like it. I see this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's terrible games.
Oh yeah.
I very much like that changeling card because not only it's like the most versatile card. I could use it to try to kill your guy. I could use it to try to kill my guy. I could say, hey, this guy's worth 3. He's almost dead. Now he's worth 1. So that's a way of keeping someone from winning. There's a lot of little things in here. A lot of the abilities are really cool, and I kind of want to see, because we didn't get to see all of them go off. I kind of want to see some of these.
Yeah, I was on the bad end of a bunch of those when Bob and I were playing the other night. Mike.
You say bad end.
Yeah, I think that's where kind of some of the replayability would come in for me, would be trying to kind of combo some of these boon effects, together with my front and back line. There's definitely a lot to take that. It can be very swingy back and forth between, all of a sudden somebody's got, 7 points, but then somebody can steal one of those cards. And so it definitely bounces back and forth quite a bit, but it's really easy to learn. There's a lot of player interaction between players. It's constant interaction, really, is what it is.
Like it or not, here it comes.
It is definitely in your face. Like, you've got your front row all set up, and this guy's got 3 boons on him, and I'm feeling pretty good, and then, like, 3 of them get wiped out,
Boom.
And it just goes back and forth like that through the whole game. So just because somebody picked up, like, 6 points on a turn doesn't necessarily mean the game's about to be over. There's a lot of ways to steal those points and accumulate points on your own. So I just kind of appreciate how aggressive and how much interaction there is constantly throughout the whole game.
Yeah, first and foremost, I absolutely love the artwork in this game. The artwork in this game, like, even when I am getting just pummeled, I'm still like really enjoying all of the artwork on here and the art design. It's really good. The iconography is very strong.
Yep.
So
really
all of that, it makes the teach very easy. Again, technically this is a prototype. So
yes,
but
don't think the art's going to change a whole lot.
I don't think the art's going to change a ton.
And this was given to us by Terrible Games to cover.
They did send us.
And this is the second one that they've sent us. And I just want to say the art style on both of them really stands out on their games.
Yeah, and different artists, right, for both of them.
Yeah, similar style where it's kind of like that. what's the Wizard Mountain game where it's very kind of just chaotic and almost like a Rob Zombie type of art style.
Yeah. Epic Spell Wars.
Yeah.
This feels the artwork here feels
a little bit like that.
Yeah, this feels like a weird 80s grunge, you know, like punk.
I'm here for all of it.
I love it. I love it.
One of the things that I noticed, like after multiple playthroughs, is learning how to develop those boons to trigger. Because trying to get your guys to move up at the same time and whatnot. But like I had one guy left, and I was able to play a bunch of guys in my back line, and then like sacrifice that front guy with a strike, move all my guys up, and then start triggering off all my my boons and whatnot. And that felt really good to be able to do.
That was a good
nice
move.
Yeah,
that was a good move.
Because I was like down. I had like no points. I wasn't getting anything, and that really swung things into my favor that round. And man, that was fun to kick all that off.
And I think this is a game though to really to be able to see and experience all those things. It's kind of like Spencer said, is you need to play this a couple times.
Right. And it plays quick.
Yeah, it does. It does play pretty quick because all those different faction abilities are going to do different things. Now I'll tell you that sometimes when and I said this to John when we were talking to him. You had a faction ability that was triggering when we were playing 2-player, and I was hosed. I couldn't do anything. That can happen in a game like this sometimes. But
not so much in multiplayer, though.
No, multiplayer way different.
Way different.
Way
because
different.
2-player has a draft before you start.
Correct. And I was able to draft the guys that let you steal 3 cards. So Tim would draw 3 cards, and if he couldn't play them, well, I'm just taking.
So you just have to know that going in. You can't let that player
Don't let that person get 3 of those.
Right, but you also do draw like X amount of cards first.
Sure.
So you get some to start, and then you draft. Anyways,
it was just before Tim realized that it was too late.
Oh, it was way too late.
That's pretty much how it went down.
And you had and again
they were beefy.
You had them all beefed up. I was able to get one out that would have knocked it down, but you had a divine,
the divine
aid card or whatever. And
stopped it. I was like,
talking about
let's keep him alive.
Crazy swings too. Bob was worried about. He was the 4th player. Tim started the game, and Bob had like almost most of his front line wiped out.
Right.
And he was worried about what am I going to do with all that happening, and then he ends up triggering the end of the game and winning.
No, Spencer ended up winning. His last card he played got him. Got him.
I had to use the change
close.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been a tie.
So
Correct.
3rd player won, 4th player came in 2nd.
Yeah.
So.
And then did we mention the wild, the Harlequin?
Oh, the little Jester faction here. Yeah, they are wild. So I think there's only 2 of them in the whole deck.
It's pretty useful.
And they're pretty awesome. They're very handy.
They all just look so good. We're gonna have tons of B-roll so we can show these cards.
Yeah, these cards are fantastic.
Man, it looks amazing.
But anything else before we? I mean, this is Válka in a nutshell. This is just Kickstarter Preview.
Yep.
So we're just trying to give you an idea of what the game, what to expect, what the playthrough was.
Beat up on your friends.
Yeah. And I think that if you don't like that style of game, then run to the hills. But if you like this artwork, you like that kind of game. I mean, this is a game, even if you don't like that style of game, the artwork is so awesome.
Like there's solo mode.
Yeah. You can do the solo mode. You build up these quest decks, and you're gonna move you're gonna take all of the faction of one band, and you're gonna go through.
Nice.
And there's event cards you shuffle in there. It's pretty fun. And then we haven't even touched, but it's very cool. There's familiars in there too.
Familiars.
So all kinds of cool stuff. Who knows what else be on the
in the final version?
In the final version, and it gets unlocked during the Kickstarter.
It's
campaign.
not even its final form.
This campaign's only 14 days, so if you're seeing this video, that means the campaign is live, and you got 14 days to back.
Or less.
Or less.
Right on, guys. Well, thank you for your time. Anything else before we wrap up?
Don't think so.
If you found this video useful, please consider liking, subscribing, or joining a war band and attacking
on
all
our
your
Discord.
friends. or our Discord. That's fine too. If you would like to support us financially and help us continue making fun and hilarious content like this, we do have a Patreon. But otherwise, just give us a thumbs up on the video. Say hey. Tell us, do you like this style of art? What are some of your other favorite terrible games? And why are they actually not terrible? That's false advertising.
Yeah, a little bit.
For shame on you. For shame. Anyways, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Spencer.
Mike.
We'll see you next time.
And you can say the title's only 3 words.